Hey guys, this is your Nintendo Switch weekend review where we'll cover all the new game releases and game announcements for this week. So let's get started. We saw 6 new game releases this week, 5 of which are on the English Nintendo eShop. The first one is of course the weekly Neo Geo port, this time of Metal Slug 2 for $7.99 on the eShop. This is a real classic and a real gem to play, so check it out. The next release we saw is Shepy for $4.99. This is a trading card game about sheep. Yeah. Sheep, you heard me right. That's what's so interesting about it, that it's so weird that there's definitely going to be people willing to check it out, and I'm one of them. The third release we saw this week is Bubble Boy for $8.99 on the eShop. This is a 2D horror puzzle adventure game about a boy with a glowing head. It definitely has a really interesting aesthetic to it, and it has kind of that Ren and Stimpy kind of crude humor to it. Very interesting. We also saw the release of Implosion for $11.99. This is actually a mobile game that was ported over to the Switch, and it's a sci-fi hack and slash that is fast-paced and very relentless. The last game we saw on the English eShop this week is Vaccine for $9.99. I talked about this game last week, where it's a Resident Evil PlayStation 1 era clone, and it was already available on the Japanese eShop last week. The last release we actually saw this week that is only available currently on the European eShop and the Japanese eShop is I Am Me for $9.99. This is a puzzle platformer where you control 2 cats simultaneously with 92 levels of gameplay. It's very interesting and very cute. Moving over to game announcements, we got confirmation from Crazy Monkey Studios that Gun, Gore, and Cannoli are coming to the Switch. This is a 2D multiplayer side-scrolling shooter where you take on hordes of zombies to make your way to the top of the mafia world. This game is very interesting in the voice acting department, where they're trying to emulate and try to bring a little bit of that Godfather 2 feel to it. The next game that was announced this week for the Switch is Hex Gambit from developer One Man Left Studios. This is a Kickstarter project that will start actually in August, and the Switch is included as a reward for an option for backers. Hex Gambit is a fast-paced turn-based strategy game designed to foster big surprising plays and a competitive community. It's easy to learn, provide tons of variety through the customizations, and is deep enough to keep players discovering new tactics for months or years to come. The next announcement we saw this week is the action RPG Lost Castle from developer Hunter Studios. This game will feature roguelike elements, and all dungeons are procedurally generated. Single player is also offered, as well as local co-op 2-player. Castle Hardwood used to be a castle governed by nobles. Unfortunately, evils have come upon the land and ended all calm days. Peoples were tortured, enslaved, murdered by demons. Gradually, demons wanted a bit more and began to invade surrounding areas. For the humanity, honor and treasures, the brave from far and near and the continuous to enter Hardwood to find the roots of all evil. Then we saw the announcement from B+ Games that Puzzle Box Maker is coming to the Switch this autumn. That is actually all the information we have so far. The devs tweeted this out and we got nothing else besides that, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. On the vein of not having enough information currently, we also got some confirmation that Farming Simulator 2017 is coming to the Switch. A listing for this game actually appeared in an Australian gaming site for pre-order. So what we know so far is that the game will have some sort of parity with the other consoles. What we did get definite confirmation of from developer Terrible Toy Box is that Timbleweed Park is coming to the Switch. This is the spiritual successor to Gilbert's and Winnick's adventure games Manic Mansion and The Secret of Monkey Island. This is obviously a 2D graphic adventure game with all the bells and whistles. We also got confirmation that Next Up Hero from Digital Continue and Asper is coming to the Switch. So you think you can slay all the monsters and win eternal glory? Is that it? Bad news, hero. In the Spiral Shards, we can only send in 1 hero at a time to fight the ceaseless dirge. At some point, a flaming blue fireball and mech mortar rocket or a giant spike of doom is going to hit you in the face, and then you're gonna die, and that's when the fun begins. We also got confirmation from PM Studio that Super Beat Sonic is coming to the Switch. This is a rhythm music game that originally released on the PlayStation Vita and eventually made its way into the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One back in 2015. It originally offered 59 tracks and a pretty good mixture between songs and genre in English and in Japanese. What we're hoping to see is a bigger soundtrack and perhaps the addition of a couple of Vocaloid songs. Nicalis also confirmed the release of It'll Do 2 on the Nintendo Switch. It'll and Tipsy crash onto yet another island filled with loot, puzzle, and mysterious inhabitants. With the help of the magical lamp, they set out to steal all 8 pieces of the raft from increasingly improbable locations including beaches, prairies, and our exhibit in some dude's basement. pretty weird. The last two game announcements we saw this week came to us during the Anime Expo, where NIS of America confirmed the Penny Punching Princess and The Longest 5 Minutes coming to the Switch. Both games will feature physical copies, and they're also collector's versions as well, available on the NIS America website. It's pretty great to see support from NIS of America, especially after the sales figures of this Gaia 5 Complete on the Switch, but actually sold pretty well. So it seems like this developer, one of the big third-party developers that has supported the Switch, seems to be definitely on base to keep supporting the Switch in the future. That's all for the game announcements we saw this week. What I do want to touch up on one little bit of news is the Splatoon 2 Direct will be having another test fire on July 15th for the American, European, and Japanese versions of the game. Now keep in mind, if you have an account for the Japanese, European, and English accounts, you can actually download the access for all three of them and play them at different hours. I will leave a link to the description below for the specific times in your area. So with all that said, thank you guys again for watching. Be sure to come back next week for another Nintendo Switch weekend review. See ya.